Wow. All right. So let's just kind of get the awkward thing out the way. So obviously the background looks a little different. For those that don't know, I just recently moved. Yeah, I just recently moved. It's kind of nice. And by kind of nice, meaning like I loves it. We got like a nice little rug. Pay no attention to the curtains. I fell in love with them in the store, but I haven't painted yet. So I'm still kind of trying to reconcile if I like it or not. My skin looks good. That's important too. That's what ring lights are for, and prayer. You know what I'm saying? The power of prayer and drinking water and minding your business is essential. You know what I'm saying? All that is indeed important. What else can I say? Oh, and plants. What are we going to do if we don't have plants? And before you think I actually grew this, I did not. My girlfriend just has a good eye for things in Five and Below, and she has the taste and the finger to how to make things look, I don't know, not Casper-ish. I don't know. Anyway, welcome back, everybody. This is season 3, episode 4. This is my third dialogue I've had on this, what we call Koinonia with the Kids series, which is where we bring people on screen to engage in dialogue, you know, be able to tell their stories and everything. I'm a little bit nervous. I know that my guest is a tad bit more confident than I am. I mean, like, she was over here giving me the pep talk. You know what I'm saying? Y'all already know how amazing Black women are. Just trying to, you know, make sure that they fellow brothers and sisters don't feel nervous. You know what I'm saying? Talking to me about the art of kombucha and all this other stuff. It's just, it's important. We need more people like this. We need more people that know how to just uplift you and talk about tea that makes you poop. At the end of the day, we're gonna have fun. She's over here laughing on my monitors, which means that she's loosening up a little bit. But before we bring her up on screen, I'm gonna drop the intro real quick.
They threw my ancestors in the ocean. They threw my ancestors in the ocean. Now we became the new wave, and we're about to drown this system. Every time I go in, every time I go in, every time I go in, I'm jelly. Every time I go in, every time I go in, every time I go in, I'm jelly. I'm mad, I'm a kid. I'm mad, I'm a kid. I'm mad, I'm a kid, man. I'm jelly. I'm mad, I'm a kid. I'm mad, I'm a kid. I'm mad, I'm a kid, man. I'm jelly.
Welcome everybody to the Kid Casper podcast. I'm your gracious, beautiful, blessed, beloved, and Black host, the kid that they call Casper. The KID in Kid Casper stands for that king of development. I'm that menace with the melanin. Reject me as I am, as long as he is still relevant. And I saw my lady said something in the comments about the curtains. It's not that I hate them. It's just that I like them a little bit less now that they are in the home. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's kind of like when, I don't know if anybody else relates to this. It's kind of like when you thought that person was cute in that online dating profile, and then you swipe right, and then everything went left. That's how I feel about these curtains. They're here now, so we're stuck with them. That's just how I feel about them. It's like we done signed the papers. The receipt is lost. We can't take them back. This is just how we working with. Anyway, if this is your first time tuning in, hello, I'm that quirky Black kid that they call Casper. I am a Christian raptivist. Yes, rapper slash activist. I love Jesus. I'm super far from a pacifist. I'm a taco enthusiast. I love anime. I love to randomly break out in rants. That's why I have a podcast. You know, because I got tired of people kicking me out of class for talking too doggone much. But here we are. You know what I'm saying? What'd she say? What we not gonna do is talk about that swipe. We gonna talk about that swipe. You know what I'm saying? We gonna talk about that swipe, but that's besides the point. Anyway, everybody, my guest this evening is somebody I've just recently become acquainted to. Y'all know and have been following, for those that have been following me for the last year or so, y'all know that I just recently, I say recently as if I haven't been here for almost a year, started going to this new church, been settling in for about a year. Not really the greatest at making friends. You know what I'm saying? If y'all know me, I'm a social vegan. I avoid meat. I don't really do that. I don't really do this whole like engaging people on a physical sense. I'm working through my own trauma. God is reconciling me through that. But, this, just engaging with this new community group within the church, Sundays don't really make a lot of time for us to be able to connect with one another. So within doing this, I think it's called Connect More, is what they call it. I think so. She's nodding her head, so that makes me feel a little bit better that I've been paying attention. I've recently met a couple of great people. I say a couple. I'll let everybody else try to figure out in their paranoia which ones are not great. Um, but anyway, I put a birdie out there and said, hey, this is also a way for me to kind of get to learn people on a more like intimate level that even some of these social settings and spaces do not give us the opportunity to. And one of them hit me up. So this evening, I'm interviewing the magnificent, the marvelous. Apparently, she from like this fancy like description she tried to give me. I'm just gonna give it that she comes up with like acne treatments for like pets and stuff. Everybody, my guest this evening is Taylor Sullivan. How you doing today, sis? Unmute yourself. Talk to the people.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So first off, love the head wrap, by the way. I was trying to figure out like what was going on the top of your head. It's flowers. Yes, it's flowers. That what we're doing today.
Yes, thank you.
Love it, by the way. I haven't stepped up to that level in my blackness that I could wear something like that in confidence. But like I appreciate you doing it so well on a Tuesday night. Just showing us up a little bit. Appreciate you. So Sister Taylor, you know what I'm saying? Say hello, say hi to your supporters and everything in the comment section. Do the little, you know what I'm saying? Do the little pat. Yeah, go ahead with it. Hit the nay on them. You know what I'm saying? But so Sister Taylor, first off, I just want to say thank you for accepting my invitation, for coming on here, sharing a space with me. I know that's right. Go ahead. Our beautiful, confident queen. You better say that again. Say it twice and say it nice. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to say thank you for accepting this invitation, and sharing the space with me, giving me also the opportunity. I told you whether it's 100 or one person, I feel like this is just for you and me at the end of the day to get to know each other. Before we dive in and get into the nitty gritty. If you could give us an elevator's pitch to who Taylor Sullivan is, could you do that for us, please?
Yes. And also, thank you for having me in the first place. I was so excited when I saw your message about wanting to see creatives and everything on your podcast. So I appreciate the opportunity. So Taylor Sullivan is a bio nerd. Very much love cell biology and genetics, but I've also always been like the artsy sibling. Fashion design, singing, painting was always my thing. And so now I'm kind of just on this journey where I'm trying to like merge my different interests into what my path is meant to be. And I like anime as well, as you mentioned. I love to sing. I love to eat. I'm a foodie, I guess you would say. And so that's who I am. Just a blend of a whole bunch of things and trying to enjoy everything about life.
Yeah. Also, she'll probably come up at some point. She also has this, interesting YouTube channel, and I say interesting just because I don't really see people take the time to really dive into like the subject matter in which she chooses to. But we'll get into that a little bit later. I'll allow herself to talk about how great she is, and I'll just amplify at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? But are you ready? I know, first off, let me just ask, because I know you said you did a little bit of research. Have you watched one episode of my podcast yet?
I listened to it on Spotify. I didn't watch a whole one on YouTube, though.
Oh, cool. So you have like little to no idea what's happening next then?
Yeah, I guess so.
You guess so? Oh, okay, cool. Be terrified. So my first super intense question is, if you had to pick a favorite Disney princess, what Disney princess would that be?
Mulan. Mulan's the first to come to mind.
Okay, cool. I'm happy. for as a kid, my favorite Disney princess used to be Pocahontas, but then I grew up and was like, ugh, that ain't good. I've had to grow out of that, but yes. If you and something I've also wanted to do, what is it about Mulan that like I would say speaks to you that you felt this connection to that she is your favorite Disney princess?
I really love the whole concept of a woman saving all of China because they really drive the misogyny home in Mulan, and it's relatable even without like Chinese culture. Like outside of the race or the culture, like misogyny is at large in general. So for all that stupid stuff to be shut down, and then she's the bravest one in the end. It's all the men who are running away from the opposing side in the war, and then she saves the emperor and she saves all of China. It's like exactly like period. Like that's how it's meant to be. Like I don't know why people try to play us like, oh, y'all are weak, y'all aren't as smart, whatever. But she shut it all down. It was simple for her.
And she was the epitome of talk to me nice or don't talk to me twice. You know what I'm saying? It was I I always like it was that, and also it was like I never knew that Eddie Murphy could do a dragon so good and compliment. You know what I'm saying? I just thought that was I thought that was dope, and then just the fact that it's like as you said, to see greatness not be conformed and put into a box of what gender or gender norms or roles are. You know what I'm saying? I think that's dope.
Right.
So as an anime nerd, a fellow otaku, you know what I'm saying? This will let me know how cool you are or less cool you are than me. I don't know. This is more for me. We'll see how this goes. If you had to pick a starter 6 Pokemon set to go against the Elite 4, what starter 6 would you pick?
Oh no.
Oh yeah, everybody gets this. Everybody get it.
Okay, my anime fandom does not include Pokemon. Actually, I don't.
All right. Okay. Well, that concludes the show, everybody.
Oh no.
You're good. Take your time. Everybody gotta go through this. So whatever you got for me, I will accept. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I will go based off of like maybe Super Smash Bros. Characters because I actually play that. And I noticed in your logo or in your thumbnail for tonight that your little O's are the Super Smash Bro thing. I didn't realize before.
I'm happy. You know what? You're the first one to. That's the newest thing I started doing for season 3. I started doing it in season 2. You're the first one to catch that. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? You're my new best friend. Everybody else is fired. Everybody else. As a matter of fact, we're hiring for new best friends in the comment section. All y'all's is fired because nobody else knew what they was, but it's okay. It's okay. But my bad. I got a little excited that somebody else understood my nerdum.
Understand it. Okay. Kind of was hoping to use that to evade the Pokemon question.
I knew you thought you were slick, but it's okay. You're not that slick, but it's all right. It's all right. You gotta give me 6. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So I think Squirtle is one. Pikachu. I love Pikachu. Oh, Charizard. Thank you, Mariama. Pokemon is not real anime. You know what? Honestly, I'm gonna have to agree with that. Okay, side note. That's sidebar. But 3. Okay, I said Charizard, right? What is the big green one? The one that like gets huge and just like crushes everything. I would use him. Then there's one with the leaves. The one with the leaves on it. It's like the dragon one. Let's see. Bulbasaur.
Who the hell is Bulbasaur?
Bulbasaur.
That's my girlfriend. She put Bulbasaur. Who is Bulbasaur? My gosh.
Because he was just gonna leave me hanging there.
That is awful. Oh my goodness. And somebody put this one in timeout. We will take no Pokemon slander. Moderators, do your jobs. My goodness.
I'm surprised you started with Pokemon of all anime, to be honest with you. Like, What would you say your top 5 are?
My top 5 animes of all time. Believe it or not, it's not Naruto. It is Kuroko no Basika. Then it would be Naruto, Psychopaths, Paranoia Agent, and for 5, people don't call it an anime, but Code Lyoko.
Okay.
I consider Code Lyoko an anime. That's just me, though.
I feel like you're on a different side of anime from me a little bit. Like, are those all action?
Um, Action, mystery, deep thought. One of the deepest questions, and I want you to answer this towards the end. This is something that actually came from that anime, Psychopaths, is do chameleons have a personality? And I'll let you hold that for the end to see if you know how to answer that question after the Illuminati just laid an egg on your face.
Oh.
I don't know. But I guess those entries were acceptable. Not really. I mean, on the bright side, you passed. I mean, these get degrees around here as far as Pokemon selections. So it's all yes, it's all right. It's okay. This one's still allowed to comment for some odd reason. Moderators, I don't know what we doing. Somebody said Avatar is still up for debate. We gotta work on this, y'all. Y'all gonna stop it. Yeah. So anyway, Sister Taylor, reason I wanted to have you by is, like I said, I wanted to give people, I would say, that are in this creative space the chance to tell their story. And also for me, it's like with us, going to these different connect groups, also finding out somebody's on a fellow creative. I don't know about you, but it's always hard to make relationships with fellow content creators, fellow creatives, fellow entrepreneurs and business people in general, because there's always like this like shallow surface level where it's like if it ain't about the content or the product, you don't really care about the person. So my goal at the end of the day is to humanize the content creator, to humanize, the businesswoman or the businessman, and just hear their stories. So if you could start back as far back as you can remember, you know what I'm saying? Your Fresh Prince of Bel-Air story. Tell us a little bit about a young Taylor Sullivan.
Okay, yeah, a young Taylor Sullivan. We go far, far back. I was born in St. Mary's, Georgia, and I have a few siblings, but live with my older sister Camille and my younger brother, and I'm the middle child, so that's an interesting experience. My mom is from Liberia, but she's lived in the US for a long time. And then my dad is African American in the, like, whatever the definition of African American is in the more accurate sense, I guess. And so, yeah, went to Christian, what was it? New Hope Christian Academy. And then we moved to Florida, went to a Catholic school in Florida. That was something else.
I'm so sorry.
When you talk about like religious trauma, I would say the Catholic school was definitely a hot spot for religious trauma. It was a very bizarre place, a very weird it was like, you ever seen the Twilight Zone and you're just like transported to a dimension where things are almost normal but somehow very wrong? It was very Twilight Zone-esque, that Catholic school. I don't know, it was weird.
I call that it's like a mixture between, mind you, I did not, quick little story about me, I didn't grow up in the church. I was going to hell on a scholarship, actually. But I've always heard how it's very weird when you go to like a school and religion is pushed more than relationship. It's breeding grounds for like grooming and trauma. So I can only imagine what that was like.
Yeah, it's like a cesspool for certain mindsets to just kind of fester. Absolutely. Like, it's like, oh my God, it was weird place. But thankfully we moved from there. Now we live in Maryland, been living here since like 8th grade or so. And you know, Maryland's cool or whatever. I like the diversity in the food and stuff in Maryland because again, I really like to eat. I came here and there was a whole bunch of like Taiwanese food, Chinese food, and Korean and all that. I kind of like this was also right after I started watching anime when we moved here. So it's like I had just started learning about Japanese culture and then we moved here and there's like a much larger like Asian American population than there was when we lived in the South. So I was kind of like awestruck and was stuck in that for a while. And I took Chinese in high school, but didn't really continue that into college. And then Maryland seafood. Look, okay, Maryland seafood compared to Southern seafood. I'm sorry, Maryland does not live up to the hype.
Say that.
Southern seafood.
Say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't stand crabs. I just no. Only thing y'all got is constant salt on the roads. You got traffic with a sign of anxiety on 695.
Exactly.
Get mad in the comment section. And y'all never seem to have like, I don't know what it is. Like y'all have the worst McDonald's in the country. I don't know why. It just
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, like you can't find a decent McDonald's. I'm sorry. I meant to interrupt, but at the same time, I apologize for interrupting.
No, I agree. It's crazy because coming from Florida, where it was like eating seafood or food in general is always a communal thing, of course. You know, you have your low country boils, your oyster roasts, your crab boils, things of the like, crawfish festival, shrimp festival. Like it was always a huge event, community-wide event. And then I come up here and Maryland's like putting Old Bay on sweatshirts and potato chips and all this stuff. I'm like, this is blasphemous. Like, what do you know about crabs and Old Bay if that's all you know is Old Bay, basically? Like, don't talk to me about seafood until you've been to a little shrimp festival down in Florida or New Orleans or something, please. But anyway, outside of the seafood, there's so much amazing food here still, like Ethiopian food, like Korean restaurants, all these different options that you would not find in Jacksonville, Florida. So, you know, there's pros and cons on either side for sure. And definitely the salt, the snow, the cold. Like, oh, I get so sick of it being cold here 24/7, but it's also really pretty when the cherry blossoms come out and the sky's all blue and all that. So, you know, it has its trade-offs. But, oh yeah, I went to University of Maryland and I studied biology.
Fear the turtle.
Yeah, fear the turtle. I'm a turp. And I studied biology and also I did the entrepreneurship program at Maryland. And so, you know, I really enjoy studying cell bio. That's why when I first graduated, I went straight into research because that's what I really wanted to do. I did a few internships in that and I was like, okay, let me do that. But, you know, there's just so much resistance, you know, to a Black woman entering STEM, entering, you know, healthcare. And personally, my passion for biology was not able to outweigh the tribulations that were coming my way, you know? And I was like, there are so many other things that I've always been passionate about that I, you know, finally had the confidence to just like go for it, because me taking my religion seriously is relatively new as well. But it's just been growing and growing and growing, and things have just been going so well for me because I've been leaning into that and because I've been receptive to what God is trying to say to me, and I've been trying to like get my house in order, so to speak. But I just feel so confident these days that I'm set exactly where I'm supposed to be. So, you know, the things that would worry people about, you know, leaving a good job or leaving a good paying job for starting over and doing things yourself or part-time work, whatever it is, you know, that would be discouraged, especially like, you know, the people who raised me, who are the ones who are most concerned, because again, that sort of like immigrant culture of like, you know, you have to do medicine, you have to do STEM, you have to be an engineer, whatever it is, to secure your future and have stability and have, you know, confidence that you can carry this out into the next generation. That's always what's pushed to us and taught to us, and for very good reason. And so everybody was kind of in a panic when I like, you know, quit my job, because they were like, why, you know, why would you do that? And I understand, because, you know, you want stability, you want security, but I also knew that I didn't need to be in a place where things were so wrong. And I'm sorry I'm looking at my phone, but there was a really good quote. I'm in another group in church, reading this book by Tabitha Brown, and there was a really good quote that kind of summarized what I had been experiencing as of late. So I'm going to try to find. Okay, I found it actually. It was, God will make your life uncomfortable until you face the thing that's been tapping at you, the thing you've been running from. And that really summarized everything for me, because I was like having these vivid dreams, and I thought the vivid dreams were saying, oh, you're going to get a great biology job and life will be great. But I think, you know, sometimes you think messages from God are more short term than they actually are. They might be talking about things way in the future instead of where you are now. And I guess, you know, you don't really know until you like live it out and see what comes to fruition. But this concept of God making you uncomfortable until you move and get to where you're supposed to be, get out of your comfort zone and go to where you're supposed to be, that perfectly sums up what was happening, because things were just too terrible at my previous job. It was like, it was too much. So it only makes sense for things to like leave that high pressure environment where I'm stressed, I'm tossing and turning at night. I don't know what like petty or evil thing they're going to do next, because there was always something, you know. But now I'm in an environment where I'm in control of what I'm doing. I can take the time to take advantage of my talents and the things that I care about and that I'm passionate about, and I'm bringing them into reality. And so it's just an amazing experience thus far. And I thank God, and I thank everybody who's been supportive of me and who's watching right now. So I mean, it's just, life is good is all I can say.
All right. So that was, first off, thank you for sharing that. I don't, my my biological mom went to school as a my biological mom went to school as a bio major, where she got an education in biology. Anyway, too many bios. But one thing I've never heard anybody say, or even she speak to, is I guess like the experience of growing and being refined in that space. You said that that seems to be a difficult space to break through, especially as a Black woman. And what do you mean when you talk about like the turbulence that you have to go through while stepping into that field?
Okay.
Hey, look, this is the Kid Casper podcast. Let me put this, and if anybody tries to get nasty in the comment section, this is the Kid Casper podcast featuring Taylor Sullivan. So, Taylor Sullivan, talk your talk, queen. You know what I'm saying? This is your experience. This is your truth. Don't get mad. Don't get nervous. You know what I'm saying? Get comfortable. Like, you on your couch at home. I'm in my place at home.
Right.
Relax. Whatever. Speak your truth in your time and your speed. You got this.
Right. Yeah. No, it's just like, it starts as like little petty things, you know, little petty, like there's always a mix of people. Some people are prejudiced, some people are not, but the people who are know when they have the support of other people who are, and that makes them bolder. And so, you know, when you're in an environment where people are like, I can get away with it because nobody here really cares, you know, it just, because people get more confident over time, their behavior gets worse over time. It starts with little microaggressive jabs, but then it turned into, you know, just full on sabotage. And really the sabotage started because they wanted to be able to say that my resume was a lie, that all the things that I've accomplished were not true, that I lied in my interviews. And then when they put me to the test, you know, they put me in the laboratory and said, oh, I'm not going to supervise you because I have other stuff to do, but go ahead and do this thing. And when I did it perfectly, then they were shocked. They were like, oh, your data came out perfect. And I was like, yeah, because I know how to do it. Why'd you hire me if you didn't think I knew how to do it? You know, like in my head, I didn't say those things. But ever since I proved that whatever assumptions they had were wrong, there was always like a backlash every single time. Or if they set a trap for me and I circumvent the trap, there's backlash every time. Or it's whether it's social backlash or somebody like teaching me something incorrect so that I look stupid in front of another team member, you know, like framing me for breaking equipment that I didn't break. It was just like deliberate and incessant. Every single week there was something new. And it was, I don't know, it was just exhausting because it's like, I'm here to culture cells and run assays and just sit in my biosafety cabinet and do my thing. But I can't do that because there's people who are stacking up roadblocks every chance they get, or trying to discredit me so nobody on the team wants me to touch their samples. Nobody on the team wants me to help them with their experiment because they're spreading all these rumors. So it's like, meanwhile, I'm watching the other research associates who are white or who are Asian. They're progressing. They're like, oh, my mentor, he's so great. He said, anything you want to learn, I'm going to teach it to you, this, that, and that. And I'm like, wow, I wish I could have that experience, because every time I go to my mentor and I'm like, I want to learn this, he's like, oh, I don't have time. Or he'll schedule it, and then the day it's scheduled for, he just won't show up. And I'll be calling him, didn't we have a training today? And he's like, oh, I don't have time for that. I'm at home analyzing data. We'll do it. It's flexible. We'll do it whenever. So I'm like, oh, so your mentor over here in the same department has time for you, but my mentor cancels on me when he feels like it and says, my training is flexible. And so it was just like, nothing changed. It didn't matter what I did. It didn't matter who I spoke to. Because again, anytime I tried to do something, even if I did it in a nice way, I didn't let my emotions get the best of me. I went through the proper channels. There was still backlash. There was still retaliation. But it's the type of retaliation where if I tried to document it, you know, somebody could say, I don't know if you're just interpreting it wrong. You know, like how the whole point of microaggressions is so that you can't say, yes, this was blatantly racist, you know, and that's what they did. So it was just exhausting and a waste of time, really. But I mean, now I'm free from all that. And I'm just like happy to be in a space where I'm not being constantly drained by people who just have ill will towards me, you know, because they put a lot of energy into that stuff, you know. It wasn't just like petty little comments here and there. It was like pure sabotage. So the energy was terrible, trying to fight back, and it's like you're treading water. You're not making any progress. It was so exhausting. And so I'm just glad I'm just not weighed down by all that anymore.
First off, I think you definitely, for me personally, it definitely resonated for me, obviously being different for the fact that like I'm a dude. But for the Black experience in general, it's like, as they said right here, as Key said right here, they downplayed your experience, like to minimize like what you had to come up against to kind of thrive in these certain areas. They minimize your achievements by making it seem like I would say the turbulence wasn't that difficult. So then they could say, oh, you had it as easy as everybody else. Exactly. But it's like, but you had to, it's like your arms had to be stronger than other people's arms, because yeah, you already got the weight, but you got somebody pushing that weight down on you too. So you have to develop certain skin, a certain toughness, or a certain muscle in a sense to endure not only the bench, but whoever's supposed to be spotting you at the same time. So I can only imagine, like, well, I mean, I can only imagine, because like not only are you Black in this country, in these spaces, navigating these spaces, but also being a woman, signifying that you are the double minority in these spaces where somebody's always looking down on you every 5 seconds, where your excellence is being compared to somebody else's mediocrity always. And where your average, consider it mediocre. And it's like I can only imagine like what that is constantly like when you're just trying to exist in these spaces. That's ridiculous.
Right, right. Yeah, it was definitely weird because I had two different biology jobs after school. And the first one I left because it was more like an overworked and underpaid situation. So coming from an environment where I was doing like all these different things and they were begging me like, Taylor, do this, Taylor, do that, Taylor, teach so and so how to do this. So like I was, gaining a lot of experience and putting on a leadership hat in that space because it was a smaller company and they only had so many people. So to think, for me, I thought I hit the jackpot with this bigger company, better pay. They're more established, so I won't be wearing myself thin, so to speak. And I came to them with a lot of experience. I'm thinking, eureka, like this is amazing. But to go from I was the credible, reliable one at the small company to, oh, she doesn't know anything, and people like trying to set me up to try to prove that I don't know anything. I was like really shocked by that. I was like, I came here because I wanted to have more time to grow because I'm not running around doing everything else, but you're trying to set me back to where even before my previous experience where like all that expertise that I was developing is being washed away because I'm not able to do anything. So I was like, this is insidious. Like they gave this a lot of thought, in order to orchestrate all of this. But I was like, you know what? It didn't feel like, oh, they won and I lost because I wasn't supposed to be there. Or at least I was supposed to be there for a time and it wasn't the final destination, So that pressure, that extreme pressure, some people could argue, oh, you're going to go through hard things and you're supposed to stick it out. And I think to a certain extent, I was supposed to stick it out a little bit longer than I did. But overall, I knew it wasn't going to be like the final, career path for me. So I'm glad that things have shifted and I've pivoted and I've started to go after the things that I can really see myself doing.
So let's go back a little bit because I think that we're listening to call it the finished product. We'll just say like we're listening to the closing statements after the chapter, but I will look and see like how this was shaped. Like how did this become who is Taylor Sullivan? So curious that you brought this up before I could necessarily get the chance to dive in on this, but I've always found it, especially over the last 4 to 5 years of my faith, very interesting when engaging people that look like us. You know what I'm saying? Because, for some odd reason, people still think Jesus is white. I don't know why. I just don't. I don't know. But I've always been curious, even though for me, I did not grow up in my faith, meaning like, once again, going to hell on a scholarship, didn't get saved till I was 19. What that was like for you growing up. So if you don't mind me asking, like not only how long have you been saved, but how long have you been saved but known what it means to be Black in this country? What was that like for you?
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so growing up, we were Baptist, and we would go to church, and that was for most of my upbringing. Even after moving here to Maryland, we found a new church, and we would go to church. All this stuff. It really wasn't until like recent years that that we kind of stopped going to church as a family consistently. And so for a little while, when I kind of left my high school experience, because I went to a high school that was more white and Asian. I didn't go to high school in like a predominantly Black area. And that was kind of my experience in all of my schooling. So leaving high school and dealing with all these things that were happening in the media, I kind of had a sort of like awakening in terms of my social awareness and how kind of strongly I felt about it. And so that transition into college was interesting because I'm in another predominantly white environment, but I quickly found, the Black student group so that I could apply myself there. And in that immersion of Black people and wokeness and all this stuff, I kind of formed an anti-Christian view for a little while because of the whole, oh, well, Christianity was used to brainwash us, and slavery was only so successful because they picked and chose which parts of the Bible to teach the slave, all this stuff. So it was kind of anti for a little while. But then, that had to simmer back down a little bit. You kind of have this like spike in the ideology, and then you have to like consider all the truths and not just this, sort of bottlenecking of information that happens when you lean towards one side of the spectrum. So with that simmering back down, is not so anti anymore. But what really made me get serious about my religion was an experience I had just a little while ago, where I was in a relationship with somebody and I cared about him very much, but it wasn't really returned. And when he ended the relationship, it was very disrespectful and very painful. And then there were a bunch of different things that happened in a very short period of time after that, with other relationships, with other people in my life, that were also kind of explosive and painful and stressful. And I was just like going through it, basically. And I had also, not too long before that, started having these weird health issues, like a lot of the inflammation and stuff that I kind of mentioned in our group chat. All that was kind of just starting as well. So I was in a weird, very dark place emotionally, just because I was still trying to cope with all these different things that had happened, and also cope with these weird health problems that seemed to be on the rise that I didn't yet get any questions or get any answers for, despite seeing a few doctors at the time. And so really, when I started to pray and I started to ask God, like, please just take this weight, just take this weight off of me long enough so I can sleep, so I can sleep through the night. That's when I started to take my relationship with God more seriously. And I started to.
Hold on real quick. Let me stop you real quick. Hey, take your time. Okay. We're all here in support of you. We're all here. Just listen to you speak your truth. Take your time. Please do not rush yourself. Don't feel awkward. Don't feel nervous. If I even need to turn the live stream off, if I need to, just for you to be able to calmly tell your story, I'll do so. Like I told you before we got started, I'm here to protect my guests at the end of the day, family here. So
thank you.
Just take your time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want you to feel like you are under any immense pressure. You got this. You got this. Take your time. Take your time.
I appreciate that. But yeah, so it was really just reading passages in the Bible and seeing people. I would be on Twitter and I would see like people talking about, oh my gosh, God is so good. God did this for me. God said this to me. And I'm like, I wonder how that feels. Like, I'm not really sure how that feels. And then, when I prayed and I just like, I had read passages in the Bible about, you can lay your burdens, you can lay your cross at his feet, that burden that you're trying to shoulder on your own, you can give it to God and he can take it off of you. And so when I prayed, like, to just take the burden off of me long enough to go to bed, it was such a huge contrast. It was such a huge difference, like that burden that was on me versus the ability to actually sleep through the night. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like, it's true, like, it's real. And it happened to me. I didn't read somebody else saying it. It happened for me. And so I just wanted more of that. I needed more of that. And I was reading the Bible more. I was engaging more with Christian Twitter and Christian Instagram. And I was seeing passages that were hitting the nail on the head with like emotional and psychological things I was experiencing at the time, like way too specific. And I was like, okay, I'm listening. I'm leaning into this. I'm going to read this passage next. And I would read that passage and it would lead me to another passage. And I was like, oh my gosh, this also hits the nail on the head. And that cycle just kept continuing and continuing until I was like, you know what, God, I see what you're saying to me. I see what's going on here. I want you to be in control, because as I just experienced, as I just realized this whole sequence, when I surrender and when I listen to what you're saying to me, things get clearer, things get lighter, and things get brighter. And so I was like, just take over, take it. That's when I got saved. So it's been a great road.
That's what's up. Thank you for sharing that with us. More importantly, me, I'm the one that gets to hear it better than all y'all, you know what I'm saying, because y'all got to hear it on the playback and y'all about 10 seconds late. But thank you for sharing that. One thing that I can relate to that is, I'll tell you a quick little story real quick. I remember, I think I was 19 at the time, and like I said, going to hell on a scholarship. I was having an anxiety attack mixed with an asthma attack. And I was actually incarcerated at the time. And I remember I was asking for I was waiting for them to bring my inhaler. And for some odd reason, though, it was down the hall. It took them 30 minutes to bring your boy an inhaler. And I was like, oh, y'all just gonna let a black man die up in here. Oh my God. So so I don't know if God kind of set all this up, but I just remember crying out, and I didn't even believe in a God at that time, and my lung capacity had gone to 20%, and I remember crying out, and my lungs just said, whoop! My little bird chest hurt, girl. It was terrible. It was I remember when that admittedly, I'll never lie to you. I ain't gonna lie to you. Admittedly, when I took that first deep breath in, I was like, what the F? And I did not say F. It was just what was that? And I didn't even get the albuterol yet. What the hell was that? But so when you spoke, that's why when you were that emotion and that sensation you felt, it was though it's been so long ago, you never forget when God touches you, you know? So that's why when you were going through that, I knew it was real to you just because I knew when it was real for me. So thank you for sharing that. Seriously. Seriously. And it's one thing that I think that you said that I picked out of that. It's one of the things that make this, I would say this experience as a disciple of Christ so beautiful is when you learn to humanize yourself. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because as I like to say, before a couple of my people in my community gave their life to God, they're like, I don't think I'm good enough to be a Christian. I'm like, no, but these little hoodlums, you know how ghetto the Bible is. I mean, ghetto. Abraham didn't want to wait on God's promise. He knocked up his woman's servant, slave, whatever that is. Mm-hmm. She got jealous. I don't know why. He was surprised. And then got a son out of it, wait 100-something years for a promise. Paul was a terrorist. But when you sit there and you individually dive into their stories and their development and everything, you come to realize how much you relate to them. And when you realize how much you can relate to problematic people, it tends to make you humanize yourself, destigmatize yourself. And where you can take the human experience and recognize how godly God is.
Yeah.
You know, so that's, yeah, I you hit the nail on the head for that, for sure.
And that's another thing that's kind of new to me is these sort of connections, because you describe yourself as, what you said, you're a social vegan.
I'm a social vegan. Oh yeah, look, you'll meet her, but my partner is the exact opposite of me in social spaces. I'm to the wall. I supervise the food table. I don't really like people all too much. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, social vegan. I avoid meat. That's me. That's me to the T.
That's so funny because I can relate to that in a sense, because I was kind of, I struggled a lot in social situations for a while. Even though I was in all these orgs and stuff, I was always kind of the wallflower type as well. So this clarity with connecting with people is also relatively new. There's always people that you just gel with naturally, but then, being better at having conversations and being better at, you know, when somebody says something that you can relate to, like those sort of light bulbs kind of go off. I don't know. That was kind of a little bit duller before, but now it's like really vibrant. And that's a really good experience as well, connecting with people, communicating yourself and people understanding you, and vice versa. It's way more fulfilling than I, you know, wanted to admit before when I wasn't as good at it. So growth is a beautiful thing, basically.
Y'all are getting, I'm just letting you know, in these spaces that you have experienced me in on a physical sense, y'all are getting a much more polished version. Like when I say polished, I'm not even saying I'm wearing a mask. I'm just saying, like, y'all don't know how weird I am. And I don't know how much weirdness I could show y'all just yet, because we're not that close yet. You know what I'm saying? So if I show too much, y'all might be like, do we worship the same Jesus? What's going on over here? You know what I'm saying? So you gotta, just like baptism, you gotta just slowly, you can't just dunk them in that mug till the bubbles stop. That's aggressive. You gotta slowly immerse in the space with them before we get comfortable. Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely.
What did Joey say over here? Oh yeah, I'm a full introvert. Social areas be difficult for me. Oh yeah, Joey knows. The first game night, we were the bartenders of the antisocial social club. We were selling hyperventilations for $2.99. We were selling anxiety for $4.55. You know what I'm saying? We was it was hilarious. We were selling dad jokes for $10.99 plus shipping and handling. Yeah, it just kind of helps break the ice. I don't know why I went on that tyrant. If y'all have a problem with it, I mean, deal with it. I don't know. A question I am curious about asking you, and I think that this will, God kind of just like deposited this in my spirit as you were telling this. What's something that I would say you would give advice to somebody, even though I don't know if this was a long period of time, you know, the few times that we've engaged with each other in the chat, you know, you speak of like I don't want to say struggle, because it can become a bit stigmatizing. Your experience with dealing with, like, you know, chronic illness and stuff like that. What advice or what can you speak to when we talk about chronic illness while still having hope in something or faith in something we can't see? What advice would you give to somebody, though it is either similar to the same, different chronic illness or experiences? What advice would you give to that person that is, I don't want to say struggling, because sometimes what we look at as struggle, somebody else looks at as strength, to somebody that is living and existing in that experience?
Well, it's kind of, I feel like I'm a little bit biased because I grew up in a family of doctors and I myself went to school for biology. So when I started feeling sick, I knew which doctors to go to figure it out, because I knew, okay, this seems autoimmune, or this seems like a tissue degenerative problem. Like that's knowledge I already had. But people who don't already know biology and medicine might have a harder time trusting doctors because they don't have the same foundation. And so I would just say, yes, sometimes you might have to have some trial and error to find a good doctor or a credible doctor, but do not fear going to a medical professional when you're feeling sick. And a lot of times people do avoid going to a medical professional because they're like, well, I don't want to know if it's something, you know, terminal, or if it's something that I'll have to live with the rest of my life. Sometimes, even if it's something that doesn't have a cure, there are things that you can do to catch it when it's early so that the damage is not bad later. It's not so bad that it affects your life later. Because in my case, I went to a rheumatologist who deals with autoimmune disorders. And I got tested. I got blood work done and imaging done because I described all my symptoms. And she was like, let's see what's going on. And basically the only thing that the blood work really confirmed is that there is some autoimmune dysfunction going on there, based on 2 markers that actually, you know, met the threshold. But all the markers that would tell you what specific autoimmune disorder it is, I didn't meet the threshold. So it's either a disorder that you have that's not far enough along for us to know, or it's something different entirely. And so, you know, it gave me a starting point. It answered just enough questions for me to be able to be like, okay, it's not a death sentence, you know, but it's like, even if it's something you have to live with your entire life, these are things that you can stop sooner than later. Because even though there was no, here's the diagnosis and here's the medication or here's the treatment plan, it gave me enough information to know what to do next. So just changing my habits, eating better, exercising better, that made my inflammation go down, that made my pain go down. And especially during our prayer, our 21 days of prayer and fasting, where we were on Daniel's fast, I especially.
Can I completely interrupt you for a second? Daniel's fast, right? I heard you not supposed to wear deodorant during Daniel's fast.
I honestly had not heard of Daniel's fast before the 21 days of prayer and fasting, so I just went based off of the guide that was provided by the churches that were doing it. And
I'm just saying, there's been plenty of people that have been doing the Daniel fast they whole doggone life if you ain't supposed to wear deodorant. I'm sorry. Go ahead and continue.
I was definitely wearing deodorant. I don't know about that.
Look, man, I heard that you ain't supposed to wear deodorant. And I'm like, so a lot of y'all must be really close to God, because the way y'all out here smelling like hot dog water and angel tears don't make no doggone sense.
Yeah.
But
no, oh my gosh, no deodorant. I kept the deodorant on. It was mainly just
praise God.
I was no yeast and emphasizing things that come out of the ground, all of that. And so during that time, aside from just losing weight and stuff, my joint pain decreased. My eczema on my face went away. I was like, wait a minute. Like, and what made it so it was a stark contrast when I finished the fast and I went straight back to eating chicken and beef and all this stuff that I was missing while I was on the fast. And then my pain came back full force. My eczema was all over my face. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, okay, I need to seriously evaluate, you know, the diet and any changes that I can incorporate into the diet, because on my own experimenting, I noticed eating more balanced, having like a bigger portion of something green on my plate and a little bit less meat was something that helped my pain before the vegan fast, right? But then when I noticed coming off of the vegan fast and my pain came back full force when I started eating certain foods again, I was like, I should probably seriously consider transitioning to a normal diet where I exclude those things altogether. So potentially transition into being vegan or mostly plant-based or whatever. So I'm kind of doing that right now, and it does feel better. I feel better. I have more energy. Another thing that was happening while I was before I tried this fast was I would just be so exhausted. Like I would wake up at a normal time and go to bed at a normal time, but I would be dragging myself to get out of bed. I thought maybe I didn't drink enough water, maybe it's this. I tried all these different things, but eating plant-based and eating vegan was what gave me more energy and less fatigue. So all of those are kind of characteristics of an autoimmune disorder, but it could also be, you know, just your diet, your balance in your life with your diet and exercise. It could be hormonal. You know, that's why you kind of do need medical professionals, because you can't just say, oh, I ate some vegetables and it solved all my problems. That's not always the case. So I wouldn't say, you know, if you're hurting, if you're having chronic pain, just eat better and that'll probably solve it. You should still see a medical professional, because there's so many different things that could be going on, you know, but also try to make those small changes and do little experiments of your own to see, you know, what makes it better for you. So those are things. An amazing thing that I tried was deep tissue massages. I got a Groupon to try deep tissue massages at this massage parlor. Oh my gosh. I was like, I felt so much better. Like I was dealing with head to toe inflammation, right? Like even in my eyes would get like bloodshot for no apparent reason. I thought it was allergies. I was always taking allergy eye drops. And I was like, I can't have allergies literally every single month of the year. That doesn't make any sense. So I go to the massage parlor with my Groupon, and I get those deep tissue massages. And let me tell you, they hurt. It's like they're really beating you up. Like the second person who did my massage, he legit like bent me in half. Like I'm on the table like this, right? And he like bent me like this. And I was like, oh my gosh, this man is strong. So in the moment it hurts, but after the fact you feel so much better. It just like flushes everything, all the inflammation decreases. So the bloodshot eyes and all that I was having so frequently, it went away. And I was like, oh my gosh. So it could be so many different things. That's why it's overwhelming for people to address their health issues, because they're like, can I trust a doctor? What if they misdiagnose me, this, that, and the other? The reality is you're probably going to have to see a bunch of different people, do a little bit of your own research, but legitimate research on legitimate sources, so that you have a little bit of your own information, but also listen to the professionals and try to parse through that information. It's easier said than done for sure, but that's all you can do.
Somebody texted me this. Somebody from my Patreon texted me this. I don't know why they didn't drop in the comment section, because I think it's a good question. Do you think that the reason why you have to like get multiple opinions, not only one because of the field that you are studying, but also it goes back to, I'm a Black woman. There's so many people that experiment with us. Like we can't run the risk of just taking the first opinion and running with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I definitely feel like there can be times when you go to a professional and they don't take you seriously, or they feel like you don't know what you're talking about. And I can say I've been fortunate to not experience that too much personally in that time that I was feeling sick, because again, I have a lot of doctors in the family. So I start with talking to them about it, and I start with my own understanding of certain things. And I'm like, okay, well, based on what you said and based on what I think, I sought out specific specialists. I had to pick specialists myself, because I first tried to go to primary care. And yes, I went to the primary care doctor and I was telling her about this localized pain in my abdomen. And it was incessant, like constant pain in this one specific spot. And she just like put me on the exam table and poked the side of my belly a few times and was like, maybe you just ate something bad.
You probably got gas,
Right. Like, but I'm like, why would it be in this specific location for months on end if it's just I ate something bad? Maybe like if it started a week ago, but it's been several months of this. And she's like poking around and asking me questions that, I didn't think she was really trying to arrive at a certain answer. I feel like she was just trying to make me think that she was being thorough, And I'm like, she was so flippant, and ultimately didn't refer me to another doctor, was just like, you'll be fine. If the pain persists or if the pain gets worse, come back, I guess. But otherwise, you probably just ate something bad. I'm like, lady, I know there's something else going on here, especially because it wasn't just the abdominal pain. There were other things going on. So I was like, yeah, no, I'll have to take matters into my own hands. So yes, there's definitely times where people, it might be because, yes, you're a Black woman and they don't take it seriously, but it might also be because the reality in healthcare, a lot of people don't really care. Like they went into the profession because their family pushes it, or because they wanted to make a lot of money, or maybe they really liked it at first, but then they just got burnt out and jaded. And so, especially with primary care, because they do a lot of work, they see a lot of people, but they're not really like the highest paid doctors a lot of the time. So people kind of just get tired. But they don't, yeah, that's true. They don't always care. So you should get multiple opinions. You should try to do like legitimate research on your own. And when I say legitimate research, I mean, don't just like Google.
Don't go on WebMD. Don't go
on WebMD.
Don't go on WebMD. I would, funny story real quick. One of my best friends, I'm going to put them on blast real quick. His name is Dixon Ramos. Yes, I quoted him. I'm putting his whole government out there. This man, known this kid since I was 11 years old. It was hilarious. It was something ridiculous. He was like, oh man, I think something's wrong with me. And like he was like, I'm really nervous. I think I'm having stomach ulcers because he felt like he was coughing up blood. And it was like, now this sounds serious, right? And I was just like, oh my God, this is awful. So like we're like 20 at the time. And I remember him saying, I'm going to the doctors, man. It's like the third day in a row I've been coughing up blood, man. I'm on my way to the emergency room. I'm like, this is awful. Like, oh my God, my best friend is gonna die. And then like, man, he showed up to the doctors, and then the doctor was just like, your breath smells like really fruity. And then he was like, what do you mean? Your breath smells like really fruity. This man was falling asleep with Jolly Ranchers in his mouth. And like, if there was blood in his mouth, it's because Jolly Ranchers themselves are hard and they cut the inside of your mouth. So he's sitting here probably choking on his own spit. it was just, but he had me freaking out and bugging out. I was like, bruh.
Wow.
Problem is, you fall asleep with candy in your mouth, dog. Why are you doing this?
Oh, wait,
like,
what?
It was awful. So, baby boy, if you're watching this, I love you. You're an idiot. God bless you. But yes, please don't go on WebMD. Like, what you think might be blood might just mean that you just need to brush, floss, mouthwash, and that's it. No more snacks before bed. Like, it's just absolutely.
Right.
It was. I'm telling you that many stories. I've had somebody say that I think they were trying to tell me. They were like, I think I have that thing you have called synesthesia, but really what it is, they've been blinking too fast, standing 2 inches from a television. It's like, no, that's not it. You need to get your life together. That's all it is. And I don't know.
A lot of people definitely sometimes just want to have a disorder. Like, people are looking for a way to say, oh yes, I'm definitely this, or, you know, with the emotional things, but also with some physical disorders too. So it's like, what's that called? Munchausen's, when you believe you have a disease and you don't really have it. So a lot of people have diet Munchausen's. Like,
I feel like everybody went through that during the pandemic, because bruh, I'll tell you what, I mean, I live in Baltimore, but I still get nervous if somebody coughs around me. I don't care about none of them gunshots. I don't care about none of that mess. Let somebody cough around me. I'm hitting the deck, B. I'm like, oh no, shorty, we not doing that. Absolutely not. So one thing that I am curious about, because you and me didn't talk about this when we chopped it up a couple of days ago, and I think this would be dope. Just to, once again, talk about yourself a little bit. I know you are so great at doing that. You know what I'm saying? You just because I don't want to misquote you. You basically are trying to like make like the next Avon for like dogs or something like that. Like you do like something. You do like some type of, I think you said skincare products for the doggies.
yeah.
First off, I've never ever, I didn't even know like dogs needed skincare, to be honest. I'm just gonna keep it a beanie with you. I don't. But then again, my dog is the same age your dog is, so like if they cough too hard, that might be a wrap for them. But it's just the truth. 15 is that age. But I'm just curious. I never like to knock anybody's passion or gifts, in whatever field they want to get into. Talk to me about what made you, like, I'm just curious. Like, I'm not trying to like make fun of you. I'm not trying to weird you out. Like, I took ballet when I was 6, so clearly you're a lot cooler than I am. Tell me about what made you want to get into like that field, that space.
Yes. So I would say Pet Avon is not that far off. I think that's kind of close. So I described it as pet.
I'm just speaking into existence. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. That's it.
Exactly. No, thank you. Yeah, pet skincare and pet wellness is really, those words maybe aren't, I guess, the best to describe what I'm talking about, since people usually kind of have this reaction. But these items that I'm talking about are really just like for nourishing the skin on their paws, if they have chapped paws, shampoos, products for taking care of skin conditions, because sometimes dogs can have dry, flaky skin as well, or they can have little mites in their skin. So just things that are crafted carefully with the ingredients that are safe for them, but that are also effective to address those ailments. When I talk about wellness, I'm kind of going into things for their overall well-being, and more on the side of like a spa treatment, but still like important, not just like a frivolous thing. So one thing would be Epsom salts, because yeah, having an older dog, she has some joint pain, she has some arthritis, and Epsom salts are effective for dogs as well, not just people. So having, you know, a line of things that are for like the surface, just taking care of your dog. It could be day-to-day maintenance, it could be weekly maintenance, whatever. And then those every once in a while items for when you really want to pamper them that extra bit. It's something that would help them, because Sasha has like joint pain from arthritis. She has joint pain from a previous injury she had several years ago, and nerve pain as well. And so you take her to the vet and they're like, okay, give her these medications and these medications, things of the like. But those medications, even if they might decrease her pain, they like knock her out. Like the last time I took arthritis medication from the vet, she was like comatose. And if you know anything about my dog Sasha, which you don't, because we're just now talking about her, but she's already a very sleepy dog naturally. That's just her personality. She curls up in a ball and goes to sleep. So when I was terrified because I gave her this medicine and it seemed like she was out cold in a coma, I was like, is the dog even alive? Like, this is scary. I was like, I don't want to give her this medication anymore. It's like, it's too much for her. And so, and she started to refuse it as well. I would try to give it to her after like the third day or so, and she would fight me off. But what she does take is CBD, and that's something that we know to be more of a powerful anti-inflammatory without some of those bizarre and uncomfortable side effects that, excuse me, that a lot of medication has. So Sasha prefers her CBD. And so just these different things that are related to taking care of Sasha, I was like, even if somebody's pet isn't necessarily old with arthritis and joint pain and all these different types of things, it can still be, you know, soothing or pampering items, or things that are, you know, completely necessary, not just a special every once in a while thing. And so that's what kind of inspired me to start working on researching it. And just I also had the interest to start a skincare line for people, but I knew that was going to be much later down the line because I wanted to get more formal skincare formulation education and experience. But for the pet products, it's not, some of them are complicated and would require, or you would benefit from, you know, more extensive knowledge. But some of these items that I'm working on are very simple. They can be like 10 ingredients or less types of things. And so I'm starting with a Paw Balm, which is again for just soothing the paws if they're cracked and dry, or if they're just rough, or you just want to have a slight protective coating on their skin before you take them outside. That's what the Paw Balm delivers. And so that's what I started my formulations with. And my YouTube video it's really a vlog series where it's me and Sasha chilling, hanging out, but it's also me like kind of putting on my science hat in my makeshift laboratory and, you know, tinkering with these different formulations. So that's what the vlog follows. And it's been really fun so far. So I'm just excited to keep going. Still working on tinkering that first formulation. So that's what all these videos have been about thus far. That's what the next video is about, like the updates with that and the ingredients and everything that I'm trying to acquire. So yeah, it's been really cool and I'm really excited because it's pretty fun. And filming Sasha is fun as well because she's pretty camera shy. She doesn't really like the camera, but obviously she's so adorable. So she makes for a good, she's a good dog. Huh?
Dogs get camera shy?
You know, I feel like a lot of dogs don't. I don't know if it's like when you turn on the camera app on your phone, they kind of instantly react to it. So I don't know if there's something they can hear or sense that like that we cannot, because as soon as I turn on the camera, she knows. Even if there's no flash or anything, she knows and she looks away or she walks away. So I don't know. I feel like maybe there's like a supersonic buzzing noise or something that they don't like. It's like, it's not just Sasha. My sister's dog is like that too. So
gotta be the ghost of Steve Jobs. I don't know.
It's ghost of Steve Jobs.
That's what we look. I have the XS Max. My phone's like 4 years old, and like the ghost has been like coming for my phone. I'm like, look, we not doing that. Like, I get too close to a microwave, it makes a phone call to somebody I don't even have registered in my phone. To believe that your dog may be connected by Bluetooth to your iPhone, I mean, it's not that far-fetched. I don't know. I do not know.
She's sitting right here. She's snoring, but she's always snoring.
Oh man, never mind. I'm not gonna talk about I'm not gonna put my dog's business out there. I'll just send you a video after this here podcast. It's quite hilarious how he snores. You got the pooch on screen.
Yeah, she's all fluffy because I just gave her a bath.
Oh, look at her.
She
She looks high right now. She definitely looks a little. She's sleepy. You said she definitely looks induced. I think
she's just kind of like, I don't know if she's narcoleptic. We never got her like checked out for that, but she's always asleep. I didn't even give her anything today. That's just her personality.
Some people, you breathe on them too heavy, they get tired. Who knows? So as we get close to wrapping this part up, this is where you've had time to kind of prepare yourself. Yes. This is where we get to the quick hitters portion of our program. So I pretty much ask you either or answers. There's really no wrong answers. There's really just answers. If you get them wrong, in my heart, I'm going to judge you, but that's okay. We serve a God that's grace is sufficient, so that's fine. Are you ready for these quick hitters, my sister?
I'm ready.
All righty. Starburst or Skittles?
Skittles.
Okay, cool. Because some reason Starburst, you gotta take the cap off the top of your teeth, and they really like they just snitch on everybody that's in. Like, they let you know that you can't drink ice water like the rest of us because your teeth is jacked up. She said, I have faith in you. She said, so there's really wrong. Not really. It's just like, I believe in the spirit of conviction, but I also believe in condemnation if you get this one especially wrong. Flats or drums? We talking about chicken.
Oh, flats.
Flats?
100% flat.
How are you a woman of God and you prefer flats?
You know, I saw this argument in the group chat and I was like, oh, let me stay quiet on this one. But
I can't believe this. I loved you for about, how long has this program been going on? An hour and 22 minutes. And you had to go and say flats. Like, I don't understand.
How do you not like flat? It's so simple. You twist the bones out and then you have a beautiful slab of meat. It's perfect. For the
you just said slab.
Yeah, it's a slab.
You just used the word slab to describe what you are putting inside of your mouth. No, it is food.
What connotation do you associate with slab?
I don't know, but I don't use that for chicken, especially fried. I'm trying to reconcile that. I get no. I don't know. I don't know.
Drums. Wow.
I don't know. I don't.
Okay.
Anyway, good God. Look, guys, I said y'all can't be mean to her. This is my podcast, okay? Doritos or Pringles?
Doritos.
Okay. What kind of Doritos though?
I like the nacho cheese and the spicy nacho. I'm kind of addicted to spicy food. So.
Okay. All right. If you would have said Cool Ranch, I'm like, I'm gonna need you to just something. Nah, absolutely not. You know what? Because I know you like a little bit of. I'm gonna get on you for this. So you like, because you a foodie. We're gonna stay for the foodie for a second. Bibimbap or Bulgogi?
Bulgogi. I haven't enjoyed Bibimbap that much.
Really?
Yeah.
Where do you go for your Bibimbap?
I haven't had it that much, so I guess I haven't tried that many different kinds, but I think the only time I had Bibimbap was at Bonchon, so that's probably not the most.
I will not tell the internet where you live because you've ordered off my website, but I will shoot you an address to where you can get some fire Bibimbap. I got you.
Oh, I got you. You know something? There's actually a really amazing There's a lot of really amazing Korean restaurants in Rockville, but there's also one in like is it Beltsville called Karam, and oh my gosh, their food is so good. I did not have bibimbap again. I had what is it? I had kalbi, the like the tips, the meat tips or whatever. But oh my gosh, that was really good. So I don't know. Have you been there? Do you know of that one?
Maryland is like small and big at the same time.
Yeah.
So like, and plus I just now started getting friends. So like exploring places of Maryland, I'm working on that.
Right.
I need to try Uma Uma sometime next week, which is this ramen spot that's like in Baltimore. That might be a connect spot for our community group. I don't know, but to be continued. I might even do a vlog when I'm there. But yeah. Stay here for food for a second. All right. If we're talking about this will just let me know. This is just interesting. This kind of lets me know if you're either a good person or a psychopath. When you make your tacos, what order do you assemble your taco? Yes. I've never asked anybody this question. Yep. You the first one to ask, how do you make your taco? You have to answer this question.
I'll start with the tortilla.
Okay.
Put the meat in the tortilla.
Failing already. All right.
I love cheese, so I melt the cheese on top of the meat. And then I put my salsas. How did I fail already?
See, what I do, okay. So, tortilla, you know what I'm saying? Sour cream. Okay? Sour, you do the sour cream, put the meat, you put salsa, then you put the cheese. Then you put the lettuce. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because sometimes what ends up happening when it comes to meat, the meat ends up I hate limp lettuce. I'll just say it just like that. I hate limp lettuce. Limp lettuce is like when you awkwardly shake somebody's hand and they forgot it was a handshake or a dab. That's what limp lettuce is for me. Limp lettuce is like chewing used gum. Like it just ain't right. You know what I'm saying? So the way I construct my tacos, I don't got to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? What do you say? See, a man of God, doggone Skippy. We believe in the Trinity and how you make your tacos. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely.
I agree, though, keeping the hot stuff and the cold stuff separate. I'm very, like, when it comes to things that people would see as, like, these extra steps are an inconvenience, I'm 100% willing to do those extra steps to make sure the food comes out the best it can be. So if that means keeping the hot stuff and the cold stuff separate until the point of assembly, yes, I understand. Because the limp lettuce, or when it gets like super see-through and translucent, it's soggy. It's like
look like the bottom of a pair of Jordans. Like who asked for my lettuce to look like this? I ain't asked for greens. I wanted lettuce. What is this? Let's step off of food for a second. Kind of let me know how old you are. So this will be interesting. Missy Elliott or Janet Jackson? Yep, I went there.
How do you compare those two?
Because I like to cause drama on my podcast. That's why. So.
I don't want to do a cop-out answer like both, but I don't see how else to say it because I don't see how to compare them. They're in pretty different lanes, I feel like.
If you had to pick who you could listen to all day artist-wise or who you would watch performance-wise, like just their artist fingerprint, who would you rather indulge in?
Then Missy Elliott.
Okay. Good for you. I said Missy too. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care about Michael Jackson's little sister like that much. You know what I'm saying? Like with Missy, we got Sierra, we got Aaliyah songs, we got Jasmine Sullivan, we got Keisha Cole. No, y'all can miss me with that. It's okay. It's okay.
She just brings so much energy too. Like my workout playlist is like 50% Missy Elliott. It's like I can't get in the mood, or like if I'm running, I need like Work It in the background to get me started.
Not even that, but like Missy just fashion wise, like bro, she killed a jumpsuit and a trash bag. She wore trash and looked fire doing it. I said, how do you look like a hot mess? And look how you make a hot mess look good? It don't make no sense. Okay. Kid Cudi or Frank Ocean?
I don't listen to either of those two people.
Wow. All right. So you clearly never battled depression. That's fine. You got the hand of God on your life. God bless you. Pharrell or Kanye?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh no. I enjoy. Okay, well, if we're talking strictly like early 2000s Kanye, then Kanye. If we're including like modern Kanye, then Pharrell.
You don't like Kanye Kardashian? You don't rock with that brother?
I just haven't listened to anything. I just don't know. So.
You don't believe slavery was a choice?
I'm not even.
Do you know that every muscle in your face looked completely relaxed? You were just like there was absolutely no any calories you would have burnt in your face. That shit went so fast. It was hilarious. Oh my gosh. Genuine or Tyrese?
Genuine.
You didn't even think about that.
I don't know why, but Tyrese always made me feel kind of weird. I don't know why. I just like him.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know. You know what? Let's bring an old argument back. Bow Wow or Little Romeo? Who we got?
Oh, Bow Wow. You know, I watched Like Mike 15 million times. It'll always be Bow Wow. And then that song he has with JoJo. You know what song I'm talking about?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, it's always Bow Wow. Always.
That is hilarious. Dude was really beefing about that when we was kids. I used to think that was so funny. Okay, let's stay with music for a second. If you had to go to a concert, opener, mid, and closer, who's performing at this concert, dead or alive?
Opener, mid, and closer.
So you have 3 acts. Or I'll give you 4. You have the opener, who's opening up the show, 2 middle acts, and then the closer, who's performing at this concert.
Okay. I would want all right, let me just first name the top 4 people to come to mind, and then I'll sort them, because I don't know if I can do both at the same time. I would want Jasmine Sullivan in the lineup. I would want Giveon in the lineup. And I would want Toni Braxton. And I would want... Oh no, I feel like, okay, the next person to come to mind is so left field, but Smokey Robinson. So,
you said Giveon. You are a Black Christian woman and you said Giveon. You worried about Smokey Robinson? Are you serious?
What did Giveon do? Did he do
nothing?
Something?
I love Giveon, but like, you know, a lot of people in church like, oh my God, you listen to the secular artists. Like,
oh no, I mean, yeah, to be honest. Okay.
You didn't say Jasmine Sullivan. Ain't nobody switch 1 second. Ain't nobody bat an eye.
Exactly.
Class over drums. Good God.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know who should open. I feel like just out of like seniority, maybe Giveon should open, and then Jasmine Sullivan and Smokey Robinson are the mains because they're the favorites, and then I don't even remember the other person I named. Oh, Toni Braxton is rude. That's kind of rude. I mean, Toni Braxton could close the show for sure.
Gotcha. You have 5 people. You're enjoying dinner with 5 different people. You're just having conversation. 5 people, dead or alive. Who's at this dinner table with you?
5 people at the dinner table with me. Uh, this is so weird. Okay. I guess, okay, my friends, Rob and Ozzy. My sister. Um, I feel like this question is geared towards like asking if you would want some sort of icon or some sort of historical figure at the table with you, but
Look, this is your dinner table. You invite your mailman. Hey, this is your rules.
I'm sticking with the first 3. Let's see. I would have me, myself, and I.
Somebody's a narcissist. My God, like.
I would say okay, maybe Ola, and I.
Like from Frozen?
No, my friend Ola. Ola.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got kids. My bad.
I'm gonna leave the last one a wild card because it's really just the closest people to me, the inner circle, people who already understand who I am as a person type thing. Because again, the whole having conversations with new people and being social.
This Ola.
This Ola.
This Ola. Okay, so not Frozen Ola. Okay. Oh wait, that's Olaf.
That's Olaf.
My bad. My bad, Queen. My bad, Ola Sumbo Salami. Hopefully I said her name right. If not, she will let me know in the comment section when this is up. So yeah.
Great name.
Gotcha. And for my last question before we go and get on out of here is if you had to see Ola appreciates you, you know what I'm saying? If you would like to see somebody come on the Kid Casper podcast as a guest, who would it be? But your answer got to be somebody you can get on here, essentially. And since it's season 3, you know what? You got to give me 3, dog. Who 3? And you might, I don't know who it would be. It could be your mailman. It could be, I don't know. It could be whoever talked you into thinking flats are better than drums. So we could pray for them extensively. I don't know.
Okay, I would say one person is Dr. Emily Woolcock. She is an orthopedic who has created a line of books about children, or a line of children's books about people of color in professional occupations to increase representation for children of color in books. So Dr. Emily Woolcock would be a good option. I would say somebody who I could get on here. Who is doing a thing and doing it well?
Would you like to put any of our union folk on blast? Anybody from union you would like to see in the hot seat?
I still don't really know that many people from union.
Girl, you just like me. It's all right. It's okay.
Man, I feel bad. Let's see. I said Dr. Woolcock already. Okay. I don't know if I could actually reach this person to be like, come on this podcast, but somebody I love, Donata Skin Foods, Donata, and I follow her on Instagram, and she's kind of like in my head, she's like my skincare formulation mentor, and I've actually DM'd her multiple times trying to get her to be my mentor, but I'll keep trying. It's gonna happen.
All right. You'd be surprised. I've had some people on here like I never thought I could get on here, but I got on here. So like, We'll see.
Yes, I love her. And then this person, I'm really not in any personal contact with him. So I guess if you're saying it has to be somebody that I could potentially actually influence into coming on the show, this wouldn't be a good person. So I don't know. Should I think of another one?
I don't know, man. You could find. I mean, you'd be surprised. Like
I feel like never say never because things happen, you know.
I'm telling you, dude. You know who Ruslan is?
No.
Oh, never mind.
Wait, who
This is
is
why I switched my questions up at the end. Figure out that. All good.
But I guess the third person would be Dantes Akram, the real Altez on Instagram. He's another like entrepreneur that I follow who like really came from humble beginnings and really blew up with his skincare line and his do-rag line. And so I just like I've watched some of his courses. I follow him to see how his operations work and his advice for aspiring entrepreneurs. So he's somebody I look up to a lot. So I would recommend him.
All righty. So I think that'll do. We'll chop it up afterwards to see how that works out. But
Yeah.
Sister Taylor, thank you. First off, once again, thank you for accepting my invitation. I'm gonna do you the lovely favor and everybody who isn't already watching to check out my sister's YouTube. You know what I'm saying? She does vlogs with her dog. That was not a bar, that was not on purpose. Yes, she does vlogs with a dog, you know what I'm saying, from time to time. And Taylor, this is just, this closing out segment just gives you a chance to tell the people what are you working on, what are things for us to look into for the future coming out from you, and things you're working on, or many causes and I would say campaigns you will want people to pay attention to. The floor is yours.
Okay, well, thanks again for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. And Sasha is knocked out here, but she would thank you as well. I would really appreciate for everybody who tuned in to check out my YouTube channel. It would be Taylor Sullivan Thriving Entrepreneur. And on that channel, I have a vlog series going right now where I work on product development for this pet skincare and wellness line. And just some lighthearted, fun vlogs as well. And I also have a little section on my YouTube where I sing covers, although they're a little bit older. And for the product development and the business development specifically, I also have a TikTok, which is at Taylor and Sasha. And it's also just me and Sasha chilling and also updates on my skincare business progression. But that's all. Oh, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for this opportunity because this has been really fun as well. It's not even just about plugging things. Like this has been a great conversation. So I really appreciate you taking the time to get to know me and letting me tell my story. I really appreciate that.
Of course, of course. This was dope. And plus, I mean, I already told you I was already nervous. So it was like, great. My guest is nervous too. Awesome. I don't have to feel bad. So it worked out in the end. And my goodness, Black Girl Warrior, can you chill out? So my best friend in the comment section keeps asking me to show my sweater. Our spring collection just dropped. Taylor, I think you should be getting yours hopefully sometime this week. Taylor herself also got a Grace Cadet shirt from the website. This is from our spring collection that just dropped. It's super comfy. It keeps me warm. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you live in Maryland, where it's like it's colder than an ex's text. Out here, it's just like my gosh, like it was snowing the other day in April.
And the hail. There was
hail
a few days ago too.
Like either that or God has a serious dangerous problem. Like who does he go to when he needs to get his head scratched? My goodness. Like it was like rocks out the wazoo. I don't know. Hopefully lightning doesn't come from the sky because I'm talking about how God needs skin, head and shoulders. I don't know what it is. I don't know. But once again, Sister Taylor, thank you for coming on. If you have anything coming up in the future, you're welcome back here anytime. You know what I'm saying? This will be dope. And you already know we can link up if we need to find some food. Also, we need to destigmatize foodie because we just people that like to eat. That's it. Like that needs to be that we need to chill out with that. My gosh. Like eat your food, be happy about it, drink water, mind your business, be good to people. Everybody, thank you for tuning in tonight. This was a great, fruitful conversation. A lot of laughs, a lot of insight that was shared. Always remember you are beautiful, blessed, and beloved. Raisins still don't go on potato salad. Also, Sister Taylor, can I ask you a question? Have you ever put mayonnaise on peas?
No.
Because you believe in Jesus, right? So there would be no reason you need to put mayonnaise on peas, right? How about avocados and condensed milk? Have you ever? Would you eat that?
That sounds like that could be good, though.
Oh, okay. So I'm just giving up all hope on you altogether. I'm sorry. I just always remember you are beautiful, blessed, and beloved. Raisins don't go on potato salad, and Jesus wasn't white. Have a good night. Good Lord.